What up, virtual people? Welcome to episode 55 of VCR Redux. We take your favorite franchises out of the analog era and bring them back to 2022. I'm your host, pop culture punk Chris Stiles, joined as always by my co-host with the most, film professor Ian Klink.
How you doing, everybody?
And we have two radical guests on the show tonight. First up, coming at you all the way from the West Coast, where he works as a film editor, Derek Lufkin is on the show.
Hey!
And rounding out this righteous crew, also coming from the West Coast, he's one half of the creative genius behind Retro Fiend Radio, makers of the finest canon and martial arts documentaries on the internet. Dustin Nunez on the show.
Hey!
What's going on, everyone? What up? What up?
Thank you so much for coming on, guys. We are here today to dodge the IRS, check in at Chuck's Bait Shop, and settle the score between Goldman and Gustafson. That's right, folks. It's time for
Shoppy.
Ristorante.
Bait the shoppy.
That's right, folks. It is time for Grumpy Old Men 3 Walking Dead. But before we can move on to a new generation of grumpiness, we need to talk about how grumpy old men came into our lives and what we love about it. And that means it's also time for you guys watching at home to dish on how it came into your lives. We talking VHS, laser, theaters, cable. Hit us up in the live chat and let us know. So, dudes, whoever wants to go first. Do you guys remember the first time you watched Grumpy Old Men?
I do, yeah.
All right, lay it on us. We're talking.
I guess I'll lead the charge. So 1993, I was 8, but I didn't see it in theaters. I saw it when it came to home video, so it might have been the following year, 94. So I might have been 9 by then. And in that era, you know, my parents just rented movies and I would watch it with them, and they found it hilarious. I thought it was pretty funny, and I watched it, maybe 3 or 4 more times in my life since then. And then the sequel, I don't think I saw that in theaters either. I can't remember, but definitely whenever they came to home video, I saw those.
I feel like they are the type of movies that would be passed from your parents. Like, you know, I was about around the same age. I was, you know, I think 10 in 94. So I would be, you know, it's not like, all right, I got to go to the theater and see the movie about like the old guys, you know, but like when your parents bring it home and you start watching it and you realize, oh my God, this is actually great. So I could definitely relate to that. Dustin, do you remember the first time you watched Grumpy Old Men?
I do, yeah. We rented it, or it was on cable. I can't remember. I think we rented it, but yeah, very fondly remember watching it, and then all just, you know, everyone just laughing their ass off. And like you say, it was one of those movies where it was full of stars from like your parents and grandparents' generation, you know, yeah. But it was hilarious as shit, you know, so they really enjoyed it. It was sort of like a hidden gem for them, you know, because full of all these people probably didn't, you know, weren't making, you know, hit movies in a long time, and then this movie comes out and it just smashes. And so
Yeah.
You know,
And-
I think my parents really sort of enjoyed seeing all that unfold too. Like as you know, the movies came out, and I very much just remember watching, you know, with them and just having a good time because it's so fucking funny, you know.
Oh, definitely. I feel on like the older movie stars too. This was definitely my introduction to Anne Margaret. I was like, I don't know who that is. And then
Right.
kind of learned your parents are like, you don't know who this is. Like she was in this and that, and this and that, and she did this, she did that. It's like, oh, okay. Oh, she's really great. Like, I don't know, I wasn't alive then.
Right. Sophia Loren, you know, they tell you all about her, you know.
Yeah, same thing. This was my intro. Yeah, that was my intro. Yeah, exactly. And like, how do you not know who she is? Yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
and that one I feel a little bit more embarrassed about too, because she is, such a friggin' legend, and just like a total badass too, a maverick, like, if you will.
Right. But you're like, you know, how old are you know when the movie came out? And it's like,
oh yeah,
it's hard.
I'm like,
yeah, you know, and it's like, but yeah, that was a fun aspect of it too. I remember enjoying that sort of, you know, learning and wanting to know more. I mean, just being interested is sort of a caveat to the movie while you're watching it, which made it, you know, even more interesting.
Oh, totally.
I think it was the introduction for everybody. For me, you know, I'd never seen any of those people before. Dennis the Menace was the same year, so maybe I saw Walter Matthau in that movie before Grumpy Old Men, but everyone else, it was my first time being introduced to everybody.
Wow. So you'd never seen anything with Jack Lemmon either?
No, I don't think so. Not at 8 years old. I don't see what he would be appealed to.
To say too.
I feel like I did know him from something, but I can't imagine what it would be. But it's maybe just because he's one of those movie stars that like you can't remember ever them, sort of not being a thing.
Well, I know you've talked about this before, Chris. You probably Bad News Bears. That's probably what you knew Walter Matthau.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I also Derek was saying Dennis the Menace for sure too. Like we definitely knew Walter Matthau, but I'm trying to think of like, did I, just like when Some Like It Hot? I don't think I'd seen that yet.
All those movies I saw years later.
Yeah, those are after for me.
Yeah, that's true. So do you remember?
I was just gonna say I remember like watching it and being distinctly aware of Burgess Meredith because of Rocky. You know, obviously.
Who fucking steals every scene he's in too. He's amazing.
Yeah, and then on top of it, it's just like you're like, it's so fucking killer. Me and my dad were huge Rocky fans and go see him, when we could, and watch them all. It's just having that on top of all of that, was just such like, the icing on the cake.
Yeah, people don't, I mean, it's one of those roles where you don't really think about it. He doesn't get enough credit for it. Like he should have been on the poster because so much of what makes both movies is Burgess Meredith. He gives you all the laughs and he gives you the most heart, at the end of the day. That's the most impactful storyline that happens in the movie. Spoiler alert for those who haven't seen Grumpier Old Men. But once again, Burgess Meredith is hired to die.
If you came to this show and you've only watched Grumpy Old Men, but you were like, Grumpier Old Men, I don't do sequels. You pretentious fart, get out.
I doubt anyone that pretentious is like, yes, I want to see what these guys say about Grumpy Old Men 3.
But here's the problem, Chris. I know this world. All right,
there's no Grey Poupon in this chat room.
There is one person out there, and you know it. There's just that one guy. He's in Ohio, and he's a turd. But you know that he's out there right now.
I'll tell you right now, there is one guy in the chat. It's our buddy Sean Gold of Gold's Code.
Hey.
Shout out to Sean. He says, this is the topic, Grumpy Old Men. I thought it was describing the hosts.
Hey!
Rim shot. Yes, indeed. Again, I know it's a bit of a strange choice, but these are beloved films. And when we get to the second half hour, I do think I have a pretty good take for a reboot. And I never hyped that up in advance. But I do think there is a way for this franchise to continue in a beloved way. But before we get to that, Ian, do you remember the first time you discovered the beautiful, wonderful world of Grumpy Old Men?
My father rented this from Slagle's video store, TV and video store, TV repair / video stores. TVs in the front, VHS rentals in the back. And it was on it was on either Christmas or Thanksgiving. He rented it, brought it to the house. We watched it at my grandmother's. And I remember vividly all of my, myself, my my cousins, my parents, we all were dying laughing watching this movie. So I definitely remember that. I know it started playing on HBO, so I would just rewatch it on HBO. And I know that my other grandparents, they loved these movies, and so they had a huge VHS collection, and they had a very few movies they would let somebody else take. That was the one thing. Family could borrow VHSs except for a few, and the Grumpy Old Men series was one that nobody could take from their house. Now I do remember that vividly. So
that is classic.
Isn't it funny?
I love the details of that store though, of TVs in the front and
I
rentals
love
in the back. I'm telling you, like in
Oh.
the parking lot, there was something else. Like that dude was selling joints out of a van. Like there was another back. Like that sounds like a multi-layered.
All I know is that that's a store where I discovered the VHS boxes of Jaws, and I remember vividly looking at the VHS for An American Werewolf in London at this store. I was obsessed trying to figure out what this movie was. So Slagle's, I know where it is. It's no longer there. Rest in peace, that store. But
are there any video stores left?
Oh, there's Bob over here in Toledo.
There's free Blockbusters popping up, and those are cool. Free Blockbuster. It's like basically like a little plastic newspaper thing with no money on it, and you just put movies in or take movies out, and it's like a community thing.
A kiosk.
You can apply to get one.
No, it's like those free. It's like those free.
It's a free
libraries,
kiosk. Yeah, it's like a big plastic mailbox. That just people put shit in. I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. But getting back to Grumpy Old Men, it was a similar story for me as it was for you, Derek. I think my dad rented the first one on VHS, and he was like watching it one morning as I was getting ready for school. He was probably like up all night or something. And I caught like the tail end of it, and I was like, oh, this actually looks pretty damn good. So then I would watch it again. The increased exposure from it came in a hilariously 90s way for me, because my dad used to make copies of every movie he would rent or buy on 8mm, because there were these little 8mm laptop cases that came out in 95. So you could plug the thing into your car lighter and get the headphone to tape cassette adapter, and you're kind of styling. The thing had the worst LCD screen you've ever seen in your life.
Why 8mm?
Because you could take them in a car with you or something. You could take a bunch of tapes and these smaller cases.
What we used to do is we had 2 VHS players, and you would record.
Yeah, we used to do that.
Oh yeah, that was a classic move as well. But my dad was all about 8mm. He thought this was going to be the thing, or something really big on it, and he liked to take a lot of road trips. So I remember watching these movies repeatedly in the front seat of my dad's 90s Chevy pickup truck.
That's impressive. I would
6-hour car rides.
I would love to see that. That's one invention I've not heard of until just now, Chris.
Wow, I was surprised I never talked about it on the show before.
You have not.
Wow. Yeah, my old man was obsessed, and I felt like I was going through a similar thing when I was converting all my DVDs to ISOs so I could have them on hard drives and take those with me wherever I went. I was like, oh, this is what my old man did in the 90s, but I hope is not going to be obsolete someday.
Was it actually 8mm film or high 8 video?
No, 8mm tapes. Those those Sony tapes.
Yeah.
Those little. It was a Sony. Again, it was a little Sony video laptop thing.
Gotcha. Okay, that's
kind of how I watch these movies, and it was always when I was on my way up to the North Woods, which is kind of where these take place. It's they're in Minnesota, and we'd be in the UP, which is Wisconsin, Michigan, and Minnesota. So it's the land of millions and millions of lakes, and I could definitely see some okay, my grandpa's a little bit like this with fishing. My dad's gonna be like this about fishing when he gets older. We were into ice fishing at the time, so there was a lot that just sort of hit home with me that I wasn't expecting. And as always, my life has always been me relating to old people in movies. I watch Parenthood and I relate to Jason Robards. I don't relate to but I don't know. I've just loved them ever since, and they were movies that I had to get on DVD. I had to get the 2-pack. I had to get the Blu-ray 2-pack. I can't ever watch one without watching the other. It seems like a crime. like it's just a crime to do such a thing.
Whenever there's a snow day, that's when I watch Grumpy Old Men and Grumpier Old Men. It's like the first snow day of the year.
Good snow days, yeah.
That's what I have to every time. I'll pop those movies on if it's snowing outside. Those are my go-tos.
You know, there's really no bad type of weather to watch these movies in. Like if your power's out and you got a generator, boom, great. If it's a storm, if it's raining, if it's sunshine, these movies are great. I have to watch them a couple times a year. I really do. They're therapeutic.
Are you guys aware that Grumpy Old Men has a post-credit scene?
What?
Do you mean by the way of 90s bloopers, or like
when
a
the
true
credits
post,
are done,
like a post credits? Okay.
When the credits are done,
was it a Burgess,
like Marvel style?
It had to be a Burgess Meredith thing, wasn't it?
What?
No. What was it?
It's Walter Matthau in the bathtub, and he says, "You know, if I knew there were nudity was required, I would have asked for another million."
Oh, that's right.
Now I do remember
so
that.
It's an outtake. Yeah, it's sort of like a blooper. Yeah.
But it's after credits.
Yeah, that was one thing that was like so of the day. The like we're gonna play outtakes and bloopers during the credits of
at the end of the credits. It keeps you there. It was smart.
It does keep you there, and it's a way of respecting all the people whose names are up there. So I always kind of did dig that as much as I'd rather just see more scenes. Like sorry, I was just gonna say one of the great lines that because this is one of those movies in high school we would quote the lines from. It got into that category. And the bloopers have one of the best lines ever. It's when Walter Matthau's going on the boat and the boat just gets stuck. And he's just, "Hey, dickhead, I'm stuck." It's just a great line that Walter Matthau just dropped out of nowhere in that movie. I think that was, somewhat of the special sauce they tried to advertise with. Like we've seen these guys at their, each other's throats forever. It's a brand. But look at the way, like they're dropping dickhead. They're dropping like, different, a different level of, they're kind of sort of 90s-ified a little bit, just in their language choices, like definitely haven't heard them drop dickhead on each other before.
Right.
How is he? He's dead. Died on impact. But I will say, Burgess, you were talking about Burgess Meredith earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got one of the best pickup lines ever. I have been to Hawaii. Which island? Come on, I want to lay you.
I like a licky pokey.
Yeah, he just keeps going.
Come on, I want to lay you. Yeah, they do all the outtakes of it. Yeah. So
but I find you disgusting. Well, as long as you find me, dear.
I like it when it's in the second one when they're talking about, looks like Dad's doing his free exam trick again, and Walter Matthau's like, well, you gotta go with what works. It's okay. I'm a doctor. I mean, that man, whatever they paid him for the movie, it wasn't enough because it's absolutely brilliant every second he's on screen. Kids feels every damn scene he's in.
She swallowed a quarter. Kids will be fine. Really? Kids swallow quarters all the time. If she craps two dimes and a nickel, then you gotta worry.
So good. Oh my god, yeah, I love that.
Like this movie makes me want to grow old and just be that old guy. Like it just makes you want, like you actually look forward to doing that. And no wisecracks. I know we're already old, but like I get it. But still, like these guys like these are my grandparents. Like I love these guys in this movie. Like they're just perfect.
They are great. They are absolutely flawless. The second one to me, I don't know. I think it might be better than the first one though. I'm not gonna lie. Like they're both great, but if I had to pick one, I might lean a little bit more towards the second one. Maybe it's just because I'm a Howard Deutsch fan. But it must be true because I love Ossie Davis, who's only in the first one. And I think he also doesn't get enough credit. He's just one of the great supporting casts and great old guys in movie history. And his voice is so good. Like the turkey this year was delicious. Like I can't do his voice, but he just has like a certain, charm to his voice. And if you don't know who Ossie Davis is, you're wondering, he's the guy who played Chuck Chuck's bait shop. Chuck's the one who dies in the first movie.
Now you know your old gut can't handle no beef jerky.
Yeah. Yeah, the Turkey Mabe. Yeah, exactly. Oh man, such a great.
Can I ask
Just great
you,
actor.
Can I ask you a question? Do I stink? Yes, I wasn't talking to you, smart ass.
So these movies have a lot of sexual innuendo, and I know for a fact that probably 80% of that went over my head when I first saw this movie, as with most movies when you're a little kid.
Oh yeah.
And when you rewatch them as an adult, do you just laugh harder? It's like, oh man, I did not get that when I first saw this, but damn, that's funny now.
Well, I love the one where he's, Ariel. There are many, or what's her name?
There are many fish in the sea.
There are many fish
Maria.
in the sea. Maria. There are many fish in the sea, but yours is the one I want to mount on top of my fireplace. And he just, and the best part is he leans in. He notice the sexual innuendo.
Because I rewatched.
Where'd you learn that, Geraldo?
I rewatched the first movie yesterday, and I think the funniest bit is, Walter Matthau loses his fishpole and he kind of howls or screams, whatever, like ah. And then later on, Anne Margaret's in the shack with them, and they're making all these noises, implying that it sounds like they're having sex in there, and he does the same scream, like, oh, he finished. Like that all over my head when I was younger.
Some of the best ones still work, like when they're playing I think Staying Alive the next morning, the morning after, and he's like, got the Tabasco sauce on the eggs and shit, and he's, I don't even know, maybe it's not even that, maybe that's
it's Loverman. No,
Loverman. Okay, that's what it is.
Otis Redding.
Right.
I'm a love man.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah. Oh yeah, the soundtrack is great too.
They say nowadays you should practice safe sex. When was the last time you had sex? October 2nd, 1986. I think we're okay.
Oh, fucking classic. And again, supporting cast all over is great. Kevin Pollak, Christopher McDonald, Daryl Hannah, of course, Burgess Meredith. I'm forgetting an obvious one.
McDonald. He's always an asshole character.
Oh, he always
and he's always that douche. Even
like the little people in like the band in Grumpier Old Men when they're arranging the wedding for their kids. They're fighting. He's like you two are already married. Like Hans the polka guy. Or whatever his name was.
No,
oh, man.
How long do I have to play? I've played all day. My fingers are numb. Okay.
My fingers are swollen, Jacob. Look at my hands. Look at my hands. Yeah, the one kind of Brooklyn, Minnesota person in the room.
For no reason whatsoever.
For no fucking reason at all.
Ariel has landed herself another husband.
But also the grandma, Sophia Loren's mama or whatever from the sequel is perfect. Like, you think everyone is trying to steal the Vino Rosso because they are. Like, I'm gonna whack him. Ah, so good.
Is that a nice way of saying the wine smells like your mama's feet? There's just so I'm telling you this. I could quote the whole entire dang movie. There's so many good lines in these two movies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I will say this. I mean, you were talking earlier about, Chris, about the thing with Burgess Meredith, and I'll be honest, he has one of the best stories in cinema when he's talking to him about
oh yeah,
every day I eat a plate of bacon. I wake up and I eat bacon, and for lunch a bacon sandwich, and for an afternoon snack bacon a whole damn plate full,
and I drink my dinner.
Now, according to all those doctors, I should have taken a dirt nap some 30 years ago. But here I am, and they keep on dying. Well, so what? What, huh? What's the point of that story? No, there's no point of the story. I just like that story. That is just like that story. Perfect. It's like, again, we've talked about this. If the Oscars ever had a oops, we effed up category,
Best
Burgess
supporting.
Meredith should have gotten nominated for this movie.
Oh, for sure.
He's
Yeah.
perfect in especially in the sequel. He's just even better.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. He even has a line there. He's like, sometimes I wonder if God forgot about me.
Oh, tears you up.
Oh my God, classic. And he does get a little romance. He goes out on a high note, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He gets a little Italian love at the end of his journey. Who wouldn't want to go out in such a way? But you know, the thing with these movies is I always felt like somehow they should have done a third one while these guys were alive. And I know, you know, we'll get into the sequels in a few minutes, but it just like it's just one of those series like Wayne's World. You felt like they should have been a third one. Teen Wolf, God damn it, there should have been a third one.
I read on IMDb before we hopped on here that they were planning on doing a sequel called Grumpiest Old Men.
Of course.
But because Odd Couple and Odd Couple 2, I mean, and Out to Sea didn't do very well.
Yeah.
They sort of just scrapped it.
Which were
Which
kind
weird,
of the sequels, you know, in a weird way, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it could have been done, you know, at the time by bringing in a third person, like a third grumpy guy. I don't know who that guy could have been, but someone to like sort of play off of, you know, because they're both, you don't want to see their like marriages break up or anything, you know, fighting over a woman again.
I think every movie has like a sequel or a third movie they want to do, and for whatever, a multitude of reasons, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
What is it? Is it Triplets has been in like production development hell for like 40 years at this point?
I think that is happening though.
Is it?
When? I don't know, but yeah.
I think it is now. It's Tracy Morgan, I think, instead of Eddie Murphy, which it was gonna be. So yeah.
I don't know.
We'll see. I mean, I love Tracy Morgan.
We're snobs here too, folks.
Yeah.
Meh.
I don't know. But before we
the
get
Odd
to
Couple, you know, the Odd Couple sequel was what, 25, 30 years later?
Well, true, yeah. Which wasn't, I will say, was not as good as like the first Odd Couple, but it was kind of just they were going off of the Grumpy Old Men kind of run, because we were talking earlier, because I think Dennis the Menace happened after Grumpy Old Men, if I'm not mistaken. It was kind of like
it's the same year. I don't know what.
Well, it just kind of resurged, you know, and then all of a sudden, like Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon were like everything then.
Yeah, that's true. It was
to the quasi sequel that I think is actually a little bit better in some ways, but My Fellow Americans, versus him and James Garner. And to me, that's who should have been in Grumpiest. If you had Walter Matthau, Jack Lemmon, and James Garner, that would have been a cool movie.
He would have been, a good guy for that. I think it's tough to, find that third guy. I almost think you could have gone like a little bit cooler and have it be like Jack Nicholson, and they both kind of like want to have a bromance with him. I thought that could have been a good angle to explore back in the day. But I guess you sort of got that movie later. You got Bucket List with Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman. It is sort of like in the vein of Grumpy Old Men a little bit.
And that just, I have to admit, I think Grumpy Old Men deserves credit in Hollywood history. It did give older actors box office appeal again. Like it really gave this opportunity that, you can be an older actor and actually get into theaters again. And audiences do want to see it. They do want to see older women. They do want to see some of these actors that they used to go to movies and see it again. I mean, it might not have been as big on, in the theater, but obviously home video market, Grumpy Old Men dominated that month that it probably came out.
And I'm sure it crushed on cable.
Oh,
it's just like it's all the trappings of a movie that would crush on cable.
Oh,
both
100%.
of them really. And especially because you play one and then you play the other, and you get people to tune in for fucking 4 hours instead of 2.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's one of those just perfect ones. It's like these movies that can't be separated. Camp Nowhere and Heavyweights. I cannot watch one without the other.
It's like that. It's like that mysterious Police Academy 1 and 3 that I swear is out there somewhere. That's just one long movie that they edited together.
If you say it exists, it must exist in some way, shape, or form.
There's somewhere out there somebody has that.
It was probably interrupted with commercials for Crystal Pepsi and Pogs or something, you know, something very reminiscent of that era.
Whoever owns it is in Mason City, Iowa. Someday they'll get it to me, and I understand. So it's all good.
Well, there are some people, maybe not from Iowa, but there are some people in the chat that we should say hello to. There's, again, Sean Gold Code says, Grumpy Old Men 3, Old Men in Paradise, and Chris will provide the wardrobe. So, as always, love for the Hawaiian shirts continues to frustrate Ian in the chat.
Is that a play on words, like that movie Trapped in Paradise? Isn't that like a snowbound town?
Oh yeah,
I guess that is
John Lovitz. Is that what it is?
Yeah, John Lovitz and Nick Cage and Dana Carvey. Yeah.
John Lovitz can do no wrong.
I agree.
John Lovitz is perfection. But Sean Gold also says he did it for lupus, not the disease, but the kid from Bad News Bears, the Lupe.
The Lupe.
So also in the chat, Angie Saunders, some back and forth with Gold Code and Andy Saunders. And yeah, wow, that's going on for a while. I like Chrissy's nice. It's in the chat. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. I'm sure Mike Riffraff is tuning as well. Again, Angie and Mike, both mashup geniuses in their own right. And Gold's Code demanding a Camp Nowhere episode in the chat as well. So we'll definitely do that at some point. Camp Nowhere is one of my favorites. We'll have to do a heavyweights as well, like, back to back, because that's just the way that works. We do Camp Nowhere, we'll have to follow it with heavyweights.
Somehow got made, and I still do not understand how.
Heavyweights?
Yes.
Because it's a brilliant script, and once you get past, same way as Grumpy Old Men. Yes, I get it. You're not putting like sexy movie stars front and center, but you know something? People will go see a movie about a fucking animated squirrel and a butterscotch waterfall if they sing songs, and you get Mike Myers to do the voice,
I will say this. I had this moment today. Have you guys, it popped on my wall somehow on Facebook, but have you guys ever looked at the poster for Van Helsing from 2003?
You mean the Castlevania ripoff poster?
Well, yes, but also the Hugh Jackman classic. If you look at that, it looks like this is something somebody faked on Photoshop. Like this is a fake movie that somebody joked about to put Wolverine.
Oh, yeah.
And if you actually look at it, you're like, how did that movie get made?
Yeah, it's
like the early
a lot of posters like that.
Yeah, the early 2000s were very
They were interesting time, man.
Interesting to say the least. Yeah, that's a weird detour.
That's almost 20 years old, people. Almost 20 years old.
Again, proving once more that we are the grumpy old men. I mean,
we might
as well be looking at our thing like, how do you get this to work? What is this thing?
How do I shut off the button? Where is it
on YouTube yet today?
Who are you?
We are past the half-hour mark, so that does mean it is time for your pitches. So anyone in the live chat watching, if you've got a pitch, you've got to take something you want to see on this franchise, a direction you think it can continue. It is a tall order. I get it. Lemon and Math Hour are no longer with us. How do you replicate that kind of magic? I don't, like I said, I normally don't do this, but I do have a pitch if no one else does. And
let's go for it, buddy.
Okay. So in the 90s, you took two gigantic titans of the screen, and they were known, to be linked to each other. Their whole careers were linked to each other. The only way you could replicate that and not shit over what was done already is to change the setting and change the actors, obviously. And you have to change like the tone and the vibe a little bit, but you have to do it somewhere different, somewhere else, somewhere far away. But if you can recapture that magic of what exists between Lemon and Mathau, right? And I think something just as palpable and just as movie star-ish exists between Al Pacino and Robert De Niro.
You bastard.
My pitch is Grumpy Old Made Men. It's in Brooklyn, it's in Staten Island, it's in Jersey, it's in somewhere like that. These old guys were like half a wise guy in some family that like got taken down 20 years ago. They were made men in some family, and then they just wound up being like half a wise guys somewhere with these really low rent operations. But they both fight over Fran Drescher, who's again a little bit younger than them, but anyone could fall in love with Fran Drescher, and it would be amazing. And you could even do a sequel and get Rosie Perez in there. Boom. I'm just
I
saying.
refuse to do anything without Marissa Tomei. You had me
Okay.
until
Okay. Well, here's the deal, right? They have to have a son. One of them has to have a son. One of them has to have a daughter, and they get together because that was intrinsically part of the Grumpy Old Men DNA. So one of the sons is John Bernthal, and one of the daughters, Marissa Tomei. They get together. Boom.
Okay. So you're basically wanting to make Grumpy Heat.
Grumpy Heat. Sort of. Yeah, I mean, why not? Except they're both not law-abiding citizens this time.
Or righteous Grumpy.
I just think these two guys in like tracksuits, like way outdated tracksuits from like the late 70s, early 80s, you know, the gold medal, they're still just like bragging about the way things were for them in the 70s.
Grumpy Hitmen.
You could call it Grumpy Hitmen or Grumpy Old Maid Men or whatever.
Grumpy Maid Men. Grumpy Maid Men actually does work. I actually like that.
So I think you're starting like a new generation of things. And again, like, I don't think that people want to watch old guys fishing anymore. And I know that's like a fucking super oversimplification of what the first two movies are. But I don't think you'd have I don't think you have two guys who can sell you that movie now. I think these are the guys that can sell you this movie.
Yeah, it's a different generation. I mean, that was like literally our grandparents. You know, that listened to the Lawrence Welk records and went fishing, and you know, I mean, let's be honest, and please do not be offended for those of you out there, but grandparents now are the baby boomers. I mean, like it's got to be a baby. Yeah. Al Pacino and Robert De Niro would be the, he's saying it, the grumpy old men at this point, you know. So
yeah,
I feel like
the only thing I could think of for a sequel is like Kevin Pollak and Daryl Hannah, because they're both in their 60s now, I think, and she had a daughter, so she would be in her 30s, and it would be like the boomers always complaining about the millennials type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly gonna, I think, what if you were to bring it back, you'd have to address that
they did that with Vacation gap, and it was terrible, so they got to go in a different direction than that.
Yeah. Well, you know, another thing I think, again, trying to replicate some of the success that was there before, Burgess Meredith was amazing. And like, who do you find to be that guy? Who could be that guy? That's really tough.
Joe Pesci.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, that's pretty good.
I mean, if you're gonna get those guys, if you're gonna get the Irishman back together,
so instead of de-aging Joe Pesci, you age him up. You make him look older.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
Which won't be hard.
No, that wouldn't be hard. That would actually be amazing. I was thinking a different way. I was thinking you put Larry David in makeup and have him be like a little funny, you know what I mean? But yeah, Joe Pesci actually really fucking works. Holy shit.
That or
Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito would be good. I was thinking Robert Duvall.
Duvall would be good, but maybe it's too much of a Godfather reunion at that point.
Well, yeah, but look, if you're doing Grumpy Made Men, you might as well have it all. And he's that angry. I'm talking about angry Robert Duvall. You know, the you know, like that guy.
Alan Arkin would be great too, as always. He's great in everything.
Oh, Alan Arkin would be good. Although that's too similar. They did have that a couple years ago. Remember?
Stand-up guys, right?
Yes, they did. So you'd be getting too close to that.
Yeah, you're right. That probably would be too close to that.
But that was Chris Walken. Wasn't that Chris Walken and Al Pacino?
Yeah, I think it was Walken, Pacino, and Arkin.
Arkin, yeah.
I think I bought that movie.
What movie?
Stand-up guys.
Stand-up guys.
I think I bought it, but I don't think I ever watched it.
I can't remember. There was that stupid war with Grandpa with De Niro, and Walken was in that movie too. And I'm like, oh, a deer hunter reunion in this stupid kids movie.
That's what we need. Grumpy old deermen. That's what we need. They
don't fish anymore. These guys are hunters.
They don't fish anymore. They play Russian roulette. That's
these guys have completely
all
gone
these
out
Vietnam
of
vets, just like they got this trauma and it turns really dark.
What do I care? I got 10 minutes to live either way.
Mao.
Oh my God. But I think that is the key. I mean, you know, normally I want to pitch everything as a Hawaiian style reboot, but I think the key is to change it up, of course.
Has there ever been a goes to Hawaii? Is that it? I got to be honest. Is that just a joke in Hollywood? Has there ever been an actual goes to Hawaii?
Saved by the Bell went Hawaiian.
I know there was Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian. That's a script that existed and
I know
almost
it's a
got
script.
made.
It's a script, but it never got made. I always wondered.
You know what it is? It's like one of Hollywood's many broken promises. We were promised Jason taking Manhattan. We got Jason taking a boat. We were promised, Michelle Pfeiffer would return as Catwoman with the last shot of Batman Returns, and no one returned except for Alfred in that next movie. So yeah, it was a rough era for all of us. We were promised Freddy versus Jason in like 1996. Didn't come out until like 7 years later.
Right. Yeah, I miss all those 80s shows that take place in Hawaii. I missed that.
I did forget about that.
Yeah, that was a thing. Well, all the ABC shows went to Disney because Disney bought ABC, and they're like, your vacation episodes are exclusively going to be Disney from now on. Like Growing Pains went to Disney, Full House went to Disney. I'm sure Family Matters went to Disney at some point. Anything on fucking TGIF went. I'm sure Hanging with Mr. Cooper went there. Like everything went Disney.
Wasn't there a franchise of movies in Hawaii, like Hard Ticket to Hawaii or Malibu Express in the 80s?
Yeah,
well, those are like Andy Sidaris type.
Yeah,
of
Andy
movies.
Sidaris. Yeah,
I love Andy Sidaris. I love Malibu Express. It's like great bad movie. His formula was like boobs, explosions, and beautiful locations. So
my current boss was a director in that era. He did a couple trauma films like
really
Class of Nukem High 3.
Oh, get the fuck out. Wow.
And those movies, he said you can time them when nudity would appear on screen because you were obligated to put nudity in your feature or you would not get distribution for these B-type films because they had to differentiate themselves from the mainstream. So I don't know what it is, like every 9 minutes, every 16 minutes, you can put your clock to it. It's like boobs, another 16 boobs. And that's how those movies were made.
Wow. That makes sense. Like, I feel like, as a skeezy kid, like surfing the late night airwaves, hoping for boobs, you would start to you figure that out. I think, you're like, well, I just feel like this movie's going to have boobs any minute now. Oh, there they are. Cool. Hopeful intuition.
Kid, you're a skeezy adult, Chris.
And there's a lot of talk in the chat about things that went Hawaiian. Elvis went Hawaiian, apparently. Full House, Step by Step, my T-shirt collection. We see Dr. Stephen Strange in the chat. That is fascinating. The multiverse is completely getting everywhere. I'm sorry I didn't see your movie yet, Dr. Strange. I'm going to see it soon.
I like it.
But I don't know, do you think there's a different take entirely on like Grumpy Old Men? Like, could you take it like even weirder?
I can't get it out of my head. Grumpy Old Men goes Hawaiian.
Who would be your grump? Oh,
go ahead. Yeah, Derek.
I was gonna say
Jason Momoa. He's Hawaiian.
Jason Momoa. So they're like grumpy.
He'll be the millennial, I guess, if he is a millennial. I don't know. But no, I'm sticking with Kevin Pollak and Daryl Hannah, and you can throw him.
Oh, right. Okay, so Grumpy, Grumpy the Next Generation kind of thing. Ian, what were you gonna say?
Grumpy the Next Gen. That sounds like the worst Fox TV, movie from 1997.
Yeah, right. From the producers who brought you the Uncle Buck series.
Grumpy Old Men, I, the Next Generation. Oh
man. What if
we could have lived in a world where that's in the multiverse right there?
Yeah,
that's somewhere in a video store.
There's also
that's the part of the movie I want to see. I want to see Doctor Strange just be in a world where there's still blockbusters and it's a Friday night. He's just renting videos. Show me that universe that's out there.
Yes.
Apparently, grumpy is a euphemism for poop now because that Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, Johnny Depp testified that somebody dropped a grumpy on my bed. He said that, referring to somebody defecated on the bed.
Yeah, my Papa Grumpy.
I'm like, what? I've never heard that in my life.
Yeah, apparently their relationship is like the trial of the century for everybody, but I'm not really following
Which
it.
is sad.
Yeah, it really is. Like, I feel sad for everybody involved in that. I don't even know the details. I don't care.
I can hear us. I can hear us getting dumber just talking about it.
Yes, exactly. People came here to escape this kind of stuff. So, getting back to Grumpy Old Men, and speaking of a multiverse, there is a multiverse where canon stayed alive, and maybe they picked up the option on a third movie for this. What would the canon version be, you think, Dustin? Like,
sick man,
Jesus.
Chris.
Oh,
Drop a
man.
Grumpy in Hawaii.
Like, you could have had
It'd be
David
Chuck
Carradine.
Norris.
Oh my God, you
Yeah.
could have had fucking Charles Bronson and Clint Eastwood. Would have been amazing.
No,
Oh,
Chuck,
man.
the two Chucks. You got Chuck Bronson versus Chuck Norris. Come on.
There's two. They're not.
Yeah.
Norris is still not old enough. He's 90 now, and he's not old enough. He's not an old man. He's a grumpy bearded man.
Chuck Norris doesn't age. We all just age. That's
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
he inflicts time upon us. Revenge.
Yeah,
taking
the
up
pyramid
space here.
spearhead. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't lie to you though. I would love to see a Grumpy Old Men that's an action movie.
Yes.
Oh,
Dude, Callahan and
definitely.
fucking Paul Kersey. Are you kidding me? Like, in those
Yeah.
character roles.
I would
Oh, man. Dude.
They would hate each
Mr.
other.
Paul
Imagine
Kersey.
Callahan's been trying to catch Kersey. Like, he quit his job. He's been like tracking him across states, and then for some reason they got to fucking team up. Oh,
Oh,
They're-
man.
and
Yeah.
they're grumpier
Good
than
dad.
they've ever been. Boom.
And you can
Oh,
take
man.
all the dialogue as it's written, and it would still work. You know, like, how is he? He's dead.
Oh my God.
You know,
It would be-
do I stink? Yes. I wasn't talking to you, smartass. You know?
So there is some requesting in the chat.
Oh,
for-
Louis Gossett Jr.'s Chuck. Oh my God.
Oh yeah,
There
that's
you go.
beautiful.
Oh,
That's
good.
beautiful.
Do this.
Oh my God, yeah. Instead of
Get some.
rigging them with bait, he rigs them with guns and explosives for the battle. Oh, it's wonderful.
Man.
A very dark sequel.
It's wonderful. And
Whatever.
Morgan
It's the
Freeman
sequel
can
we
be
need,
there.
Derek.
What's that?
Sequel we deserve.
That's right.
Well, I'll tell you
Man.
what, you can look at
Earned.
almost at these Expendables movies are not that far off from Grumpy
They really
Old
are.
Men.
They really are.
Yeah. No, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. I'm surprised I haven't done that as a mashup, to be honest with you. But I mean, that's sitting there. You could do a Stallone and Schwarzenegger Grumpy Old Men. That would work. I would much
Yeah.
rather see a Seagal and Van Damme one. Because those
Oh,
guys
good.
fucking really do
Good
hate
luck.
each other, and that would be amazing. Like, their fucking rivalry is like one of my favorite things that's ever happened, like to my life or anyone else's. Like, I just love that.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
love how those guys hate each other. I don't know why. It's the only tabloid thing I give a shit about. I don't care about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard or someone's breakup or whatever, whoever's dating J-Lo or like any of that shit. But man, that's what I care about.
Yeah. Yeah. A
I
fight
feel
at
like Dan
Stallone's
Aykroyd,
house.
like, that's what I care about.
Ah,
I make car parts for the American working
people,
man.
because that's who I am, and that's who I care about.
That
That actually, I can't lie to you. That actually would be interesting. Dan Aykroyd and Chevy Chase as Grumpy Old Men.
Bill
Give us-
Murray and Chevy Chase.
Bill
would, I think, would be
Murray and
better.
Chevy Chase.
Bill,
yeah.
here's okay
Because
here's
they
the
do
thing.
hate each other,
But Bill Murray just
or they did.
he'd make it to Bill Murray, and Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd would make him characters. You could give us, like I said, the Spies Like Us 2 that we've always wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
anyway-
Bill Murray, apparently got his last movie shut down for questionable behavior.
Well,
So
this is true too.
that's probably not getting greenlit any fucking time too soon.
yeah.
But maybe there are some older SNL stars who would be good. That we're kind of forgetting about.
We're always forgetting about Joe Piscopo.
Yeah. Joe Piscopo.
Where is he?
Piscopo.
Where
Wow, I
is
love him.
he? Where
don't
is
know.
Joe Piscopo?
He's
can't
training for a
answer-
rematch with Chuck Norris.
You can't answer that.
Dude.
Nobody can answer it. Joe Piscopo
Sidekick.
can't answer it. He
Joe
was like,
Piscopo's a genius.
He was
And
everywhere.
We
and
just haven't caught up to him yet. I don't care what you people say. Johnny Dangerously is a masterpiece.
Genius.
Joe Piscopo could do no wrong.
Yeah.
He was in Dead Heat and Johnny Dangerously and Sidekicks.
Dead Heat, you bastard, Chris.
The man does not come out unless you give him a script that's worth making. That's where Joe Piscopo is. He's waiting for Hollywood to start kicking ass again, and we're just not ready.
That could be an interesting one. Joe Piscopo and Eddie Murphy. If you can get Eddie Murphy to really go for it, those guys were hilarious on SNL. They were a good team. They were a good
like Steve Martin old, and then Steve Martin's only old because he looked old since he was 19.
Well, true.
Like Steve Martin and
Martin Short.
I was gonna say, Martin Short.
They're a good team now.
They are a great team. They have been sort of rivals and things. That's certainly one way you could go with it. I do love the idea of Seagal and Van Damme, especially if they were like meta and like playing themselves, like how much they hate you, like their neighbors in like Malibu or some shit.
If we could multi-universe this thing or multiverse this thing, wouldn't John Candy and Steve Martin be the best?
Oh yeah,
oh, that's so true. Yeah, if Candy was still with us, good God, it would have been amazing.
You can age up Dwayne Johnson and Vin Diesel, and they'll be in their cars, like some smart cars with them.
Yeah, they probably don't want to.
Fast and Furious presents Grumpy Old Men.
I mean, those movies kind of already are also grumpy old men. Like, let's be real,
At this point, yeah.
At this point, it's been like 20 fucking years since the original came out, I think. 21 years. It's looking a little long in the tooth. Yeah, they're not so fast anymore, but they're twice as furious because they closed Old Country Kitchen Buffet.
Yeah.
Well, let's be honest, it doesn't really
problems.
It doesn't matter what the story is, too. I mean, that's why I'm not even trying to pitch a story. It's just you get two grumpy old men hating each other. That's the whole movie. I mean, that was the whole script anyway. So
that's the smart.
But yeah, you've got to have that really good team. But let me ask this: because it is 2022? All right, let's be fair. What would be a great female?
Good call. They did movies like this. I think Jamie Lee Curtis and Sigourney Weaver did one where they were like lifelong rivals. I almost want to say it was called like You Again or Not You or something. And their daughters are rivals. And it's someone, if you know what this is in the chat, help me out. If not, I'll Google it.
I'm trying to think of that one, but that would be a good team up. Sigourney.
Well, they've already done it, so you can't steal someone else's team up.
Sir.
I sure could, he says.
Sure could.
You Again. Yeah, it is called You Again.
Oh, dude, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, it came out in 2010.
I will say as she gets older, I did like The Heat, and Sandra Bullock and Melissa McCarthy did have some really good chemistry, but you also had Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy.
You could definitely do Linda Hamilton and Sigourney Weaver as grumpy old women. I think that would work because you're not stealing someone else's.
That's the canon action movie.
Why the fuck not? I'm game.
Right there.
I got $10 to make this movie. Let's do it.
Dude.
Do it canon style. God damn it.
I don't think you would be able to make Grumpy Old Men as it exists then today for theatrical. It would most likely go straight to streaming, and I have a feeling.
Oh yeah, maybe a Netflix original or a Hulu or Amazon.
Thing.
Yeah.
As long as no 6-part series, I'm done with that. Just make it a movie, or make it a 23 episode series. Because stop giving me episodes 4 and 5 that are full of crap and have nothing to do with anything other than you're filling space. You might as well be climbing a wall. All right.
Yeah.
So there is some requests in the chat for us to have a movie where Seagal dies. So maybe that would be interesting if it was Seagal and if it was Stallone and Schwarzenegger, that Seagal would be the Burgess Meredith role.
We do. It's called his film career.
Executive decision.
You better watch out for Seagal, my friend.
Okay. It keeps me up at night here, Chris.
He's going to be coming at you to force you to make an executive decision. He's gonna be out for justice.
This is insane. We're never gonna solve this. Wait, Casey Ryback's on that train? Oh, we're safe now.
He's gonna be above the law, and you're gonna be under siege, and you're all gonna go down Periscope. And that's not even one of his movies, is it? No. I love that they're all prepositional phrases, though.
He wishes he was in the movie, right?
Right. Although Kelsey Grammer, now you bring him down Periscope, one of the great comedies of the 90s ever. Kelsey Grammer would be really good as a neighbor. I just don't know who he would team with.
Kelsey Grammer is an interesting choice. He could maybe even be one of the grumpy old men, though. But yeah, he would be good. Yeah, or it's like a Burgess Meredith type for sure.
Kurt Russell maybe would be one of the.
Oh, John Lithgow would be great if you paired him with somebody. That could be brilliant.
Oh man, John Lithgow and Kelsey Grammer, but it's like grumpy, uptight men, old men.
Or
they're in like their New York apartment, you know.
Yeah,
Denzel would be good too.
A little bit of As Good as It Gets in there. Yeah, that's got potential for sure. The stinking man's
boozy, high rise, old men.
Yeah, really pretentious old
Denzel and De Niro would be good too.
What's that?
Denzel and De Niro.
Denzel Washington?
Yeah.
Oh, you think he's old enough? Man.
Yeah, you could hold him up a little bit too. He's old.
For some odd reason, to me that sounds like a 90s thriller.
Yeah, it really does, right? Like
you know what I mean?
Washington, Robert De Niro in
Grumpy Old Men,
Angelina Jolie.
It would have been like, High Score or some stupid title that you could
right, exactly. Yeah.
Like,
that's a great title though.
Bank Heist.
Yeah.
It's just something crappy, De Niro and Denzel in Game Over.
Yeah. Hot Pursuit. Yeah, exactly.
The Perennial Man.
Yeah.
Denzel and De Niro in Millennium.
Yeah.
It's a title that means it says nothing.
And Denzel Washington. Yeah. Robert De Niro, Walking Danger. Like, what does that even
Walking Danger, I love that.
What does that even mean? All right.
Denzel and De Niro in Virtuality.
But let's all admit that's one VHS that all of our dads went to the store and was like,
oh my God, so fucking true.
I'm gonna rent this.
Oh yeah.
When my dad got me a DVD player, he got me a couple of movies. It was like Christmas freshman year, and in the stack of movies, one of them was Virtuosity, and I was like,
oh hell yeah,
it all.
Virtuosity. Oh my
that's an HBO one. I've seen
the
a
worst
million times.
T2 knockoff in the history of T2 knockoffs. But thank God we didn't pitch you some sort of grumpy old lawnmower men. Be thankful for that.
Lawnmower man.
Walter Matthau in Virtual Reality. What the shit is this?
All right, I take it back. Actually, I want to watch that. Those dudes get lost and confused.
Oh man, dude!
Grumpy old
what the fuck is this? What the hell is the internet?
What is this? I don't understand. Damn it!
They said it was a bad gateway here. I was trying to watch some exercise videos on YouTube.
I don't know what this is. I don't.
I put footage of Gustafson in his underwear all over YouTube. And put cat video in the title. It's got 3 million plays. Oh man, well I think we have literally taken this franchise like Stretch Armstrong and tried to put it everywhere it does belong, and a lot of places that it
does not.
Like the SNL version, like the Arnold version, the Stallone, but
was that? Dustin, what was that title again? Walking Power? What was it?
Walking. What was it? I think it was Walking Danger. Or no,
Walking
Danger. Oh my God.
I want that.
I have to remember that title.
Chris, make up that poster now.
Yes, I'm gonna do that. Walking Danger. That's gonna be fucking gold.
Multiverse movies are big now, so you can just make a multiverse movie and just have all that shit you just mentioned.
Just all of it.
Oh yeah. Oh,
right,
gold.
right. Hell yes.
Fucking gold. We're giving you gold, Warner Brothers. Don't sleep on it. Hire us now. You can get us cheap.
Instead of Kentucky Fried Movie, it's going to be Kentucky Fried Multiverse. That's what what we're going to start seeing soon. Here.
Colon.
Oh my
extra
God.
crispy.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, the Grumpyverse, the Grumpy Multiverse. Oh man. Well, before we wrap it up, is there anything you guys have coming up in the works you want to let the people know about, or just where to follow you on social media, anything like that?
Retro Free and Radio, come on over to YouTube, check us out, subscribe. We always got videos coming out, just interesting edits and documentaries, so give us a rip, check us out.
Seriously, guys, their stuff is awesome. Y'all need to get on it.
Yes,
seriously. Ian, you dropped an article today, I believe.
I did. If you are ever wanting to know what makes beef jerky so expensive, and at the same time want to watch a movie where Cliff from Cheers gets planted into the ground to become somebody's beef that gets eaten, please check out my article on B Movie Challenge on here on Fandom Spotlight for Motel Hell, the 1980 campy classic featuring Farmer Vincent Fritters and the classic moment where he wears a pig head and has a great chainsaw fight. I mean, it's just, you can't believe this movie exists, but it does. And
it's true. It is definitely one of those phantom movies from my childhood where you like half remembered it and then you saw it like in your 20s on cable and you're like, oh my God, that was real?
That was real. Totally
that
real.
Was a real thing? I thought I made it up.
Motel Hell.
What a wonderful masterpiece of a film. Well, in the meantime, guys, you Fandom fans might want to tune in to tomorrow night's Moon Knight panel at 9 p.m. And of course, we want you to come back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. when we stay frosty for our Alien episode. As always, if there's a particular Alien, that's right. That's right. Oh, well, Moon Knight is over, but we have lots of cool things coming up, including new panels from New Jersey HorrorCon. So my mistake on that. There is no Moon Knight panel, but there's plenty of them in our back catalog. And as always, if there's a particular movie or TV franchise that you want us to cover on a future episode, let us know in the comment section below. And since you're already doing that, you might as well go ahead and like, subscribe, and follow Retro Fiend Radio, Fandom Spotlight, the Hollow 9 Network, and Pop Culture Punk. Till then, back up those Betamax, rewind those Laserdiscs, and we'll see you at the movies.